up, YouTube family? This is your boy 2Cold83, just checking in with you guys. Wanted to give you a little status update and explain a process of once an application is submitted, what happens to it when you are either professionally recommended, pro-rec, and final select. Unfortunately for some, the process can get long, as it has with me. And you know, most of you, you guys watch my videos, you know that I've been pushing for just submitting an application for the past 2 years, and it's been a long, drawn out process. Anyways, there are 2 approval statuses before you can get a final select letter, and that's going through your district first, in which your recruiter makes his notes. If you notice on the APSR or the ASPR, it's the initial application where you fill out your GPA and you put your motivational statement on, when you ask questions on whether or not you can swim, right? So you have that last page where you have the recruiter who has to make notes, the processor who makes notes as well, and the operations officer who makes notes and makes a recommendation on whether or not you're highly qualified, highly recommended, or not recommended for OCS. And I'll let you guys know, what my status anyways, Well, once NRD gives the recruiter, the processor, back your application, then they forward that application to NRD, which is the Naval Recruiting District. The Naval Recruiting District, they look at their numbers on what the quota is, and they make their recommendation. Usually though, they base it off of NRD's recommendation, whether or not they should go on ahead and professionally recommend you for OCS, which is the pro-rec. Okay. When you're pro-rec, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be a final select for OCS. The board still needs to look at your application, your package, right? And the board consists of officers from that community that you're applying for. And just to let you guys know, when you apply for a community, I know most people say that, you want to be careful with selecting the communities, right? And putting down all 5 choices, because they want to see that you're able to make a decision and go based upon your heart. What is your desire? What designation do you really want to go with? And some of them may look at, well, he doesn't really know what he wants to do because he's selected 5 designations. But I don't think you should allow that to scare you away from putting down 5 options for yourself. Because in the end, regardless of what designation you go into, you're a naval officer first. That's just your job, being an information warfare officer, IP officer, information professional, intel officer, or a surface warfare officer. If these people want you to clean toilets for your first year or 2, then that's what you're going to do, until you gain the knowledge in that designation. For instance, I have a friend of mine that's a intel officer, and he just graduated OCS, I want to say a year or 2 ago. And the only time he actually does his job is when he's deployed on the ship. But when he's land-based on shore, he's actually doing EKMS security. And it really doesn't entail what he's supposed to do as an intel officer. But it doesn't matter, because you're at the needs of the Navy. It doesn't matter what your job is. You can go to one command and you don't start your job yet, and they'll have you doing paperwork or setting appointments for the supply officer, the suppo, or doing administrative duties, you know, in a place of someone else. Or you might just be sitting at a desk all day doing watch. Who knows, you know? But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't tell you that, you know, to try to, you know, push you away from doing it, you know. But by all means, whatever you want to do, put it down. But just to open up more options, I would recommend that you put down as many options as you're qualified for. Fortunately, I mean, on my application, I put down, of course, my first choice was IW, then IP, then Intel, then SWO, and then Supply. I want to say that I'm more of a competitive candidate for Supply because I work Navy Supply. I mean, that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years. But I can't actually say, too, is that really makes me competitive. The only thing that I can hope for is that the board looks at my experience as a supply specialist, and not just my GPA or my OER, not just my push for a Navy commission, but also my understanding of the operational commitments when it's time to deploy. And the only reason I say that, and the only reason that I'm very confident, is because I really do, you know, considering that my wife has been Navy for the last 10 years, and we've been together for 13 of those 10, you know. So, back to what I was talking about, submitting an application, you know. So the operations officer, once they, you know, submit all of that, and NRC looks at it, and they make a decision on whether or not you're pro-rec for OCS, then it goes to the board. And the board, the designations that you chose, that you want to submit an application for, they look through these applications, but yours isn't the only one that they're looking at. I know a lot of people go to the U.S. Navy OCS form, and you look at some people that are selected, and some people, they post their stats and let others know that they're about to go to OCS. But a lot of them don't, you know. A lot of them, you know, they keep that to themselves on when they're going to OCS until they're finished. But to me, you know, I mean, I know anything can happen. You know, you can get an injury, and your time at OCS ends at that point. You know, you can get to the swimming test, and you might fail that test. You know, and next thing you know, you come home, and people are looking for more updates, you know, on whether or not you finish. But I don't think that should be a concern either, you know, because once you get selected, I think you should have it in your mind that this is what you want to do. It should be what you want to do before you submit an application, and not just for monetary gain, or not just for experience, or not just for just serving your country. You have to have it on your mind that this is what you want to do for life, like for the next 20 years. But that's what I believe. Everybody don't believe that, and I can understand that with the economy, jobs are scarce, you know. So a lot of people, you know, they get college degrees and can't get a job, and you know, this is what drives them. You know, they need a job, you know. But what I firmly believe is that when you join the military, it has to be for career, you know. Whether you're going enlisted, whether you're going officer. That's just me, though. Okay, so back to the final select. Okay, once you submit your application, you have that due date. Then it's a month before they convene. Okay, once they convene, you'll find out in 2 to 4 weeks whether or not you've been finally selected for OCS. Okay. Then from that point, you get sworn in. The physical stuff then is supposed to happen, right? You know, you're supposed to be doing going to MEPS, but as of June, officer applicants don't go to MEPS anymore unless you're a prior enlisted. So I don't know from that point on what they do. I guess I'll find out once I get a final select letter. Of course, I claim it, you know. Now, if I come back and tell you guys that I haven't been selected, yeah, it's okay, you know. But anyways, that is the process on getting selected for OCS from that initial time that you submit your application. Now, from my understanding, a lot of that stuff does count on your security clearance, your medical status when you go get your physical, your PFA, your physical fitness assessments, and I think that's about it. That's about it. Other than that, that's all I have regarding the process of going submitting an application. Now, onto my status. I mean, this video is going to be long, so I can understand if people want to cut it off and be like, man, this guy's talking a lot. But I'm on my way to pick up my kids from school, in which I'm about to land. So what I'll do is I'll submit another video to you guys and let you know where I stand as far as my application goes. So, but it's good, you know. As far as I'm concerned, it's good news for me, you know. So, until then, you guys, I'll holler at you. You guys keep doing what you're doing and be blessed. All right, now, peace.